Peter was here earlier, and he was talking about how so far the only company to really make money off AI is Nvidia with the chips. Do you have a sense yet of where you think the big applications will be from AI? Is it going to be in enabling self-driving? Is it going to be enabling robots? Is it transforming industries? I mean, it's still, I think, early in terms of where the big business impact is going to be. Do you have a sense yet?
I think the spending on AI probably runs ahead of, it does run ahead of the revenue right now. There's no question about that. But the rate of improvement of AI is faster than any technology I've ever seen by far. And it's, like for example, the Turing test used to be a thing. Now, your basic open source random LLM running on a friggin' Raspberry Pi probably could, beat the Turing test. So I think actually, the good future of AI is one of immense prosperity, where there is an age of abundance, no shortage of goods and services. Everyone can have whatever they want, except for things we artificially define to be scarce, like some special artwork. But anything that is a manufactured good or provided service will, I think, with the advent of AI plus robotics, that the cost of goods and services will trend to zero. Like, I'm not saying it'll be actually zero, but it'll be, everyone will be able to have anything they want. Mm-hmm. That's the good future. Of course, and in my view, that's probably 80% likely. So look on the bright side. Only 20%. 20% probably of annihilation. It's nothing.
Is the 20% like? What does that look like?
I don't know, man. Frankly, I do have to go engage in some degree of deliberate suspension of disbelief with respect to AI in order to sleep well, and even then, because I think the actual issue, the most likely issue, is like, well, how do we find meaning in a world where AI can do everything we can do, but better? That is perhaps the bigger challenge. Although, at this point, I know more and more people who are retired, and they seem to enjoy that life. So, but I think that maybe there'll be some crisis of meaning, because the computer can do everything you can do, but better. So maybe that'll be a challenge. But really, you need the sort of end effectors. You need the autonomous cars, and you need the sort of humanoid robots or general purpose robots. But once you have general purpose humanoid robots and autonomous vehicles, you can build anything. And I think that there's no actual limit to the size of the economy. There's obviously the mass of Earth, like that will be one limit. But the economy is really just the average productivity per person times number of people. That's the economy. And if you've got humanoid robots that can do, where there's no real limit on the number of humanoid robots, and they can operate very intelligently, then there's no actual limit to the economy. There's no meaningful limit to the economy.
You guys just turned on Colossus, which
Yeah.
is like the largest private compute cluster, I guess, of GPUs anywhere. Is that right?
It's the most powerful supercomputer of any kind.
What happens when a company as groundbreaking as Tesla, led by the ever-ambitious Elon Musk, faces the critical test of its lifetime? You get Elon Musk calling out all the naysayers and haters while almost throwing hands. People are on the edge of their seats as Tesla's stock, which once skyrocketed to new heights post-election, finds itself on a slippery slope, experiencing a jaw-dropping 44% decline from its glorious zenith. Could the once dominant electric vehicle giant be losing its grip as competition tightens the noose? Are the critics right, or is Elon Musk justified in his response? Welcome back, everyone, to Investocracy.
Tesla down over 11% since the start of the year. Despite the uncertainty ahead, Dan Ives of Wedbush reiterating his overweight rating on the stock. Dan joins us now for more. Dan, welcome to the programme, sir. Lots to get through. That name is up in the pre-market just a little bit, but it's had a struggle recently. What is behind that struggle, Dan?
I mean, look, I think it's really the worries about distraction with Doge, as well as maybe some softer numbers that have come out of China, and as well as Europe, right? So I think there's worries about distraction. The Musk, is there brand deterioration? But look, we strongly disagree. I mean, I believe it's going to be known as the bet for the ages in terms of Musk on Trump. And when it comes to autonomous, that's worth $1 trillion. That continues to be the golden goose. That's what they're focused on. So I think any of this is sort of near-term noise into just what's going to be a massive period of growth for Tesla.
Well, it's not all noise. So let's get to some of the signal. Talk to me about the challenge to autonomous driving, the challenge posed not just from, say, Waymo, but also from BYD. How strong is that challenge?
Look, it's a challenge, but I think the biggest issue is that in the U.S. there's really no federal roadmap. I mean, the whole point here and why it was so bullish in terms of Trump and Musk, ultimately, this is now going to lay out on the federal side a roadmap for autonomous. Now, look, there are challenges. You look at what's happened in China as well. But I think that's something that ultimately Tesla is going to be massively competitive when it comes to everything in China. That's going to be a huge, strong market for them. And there's nothing that makes me view this as a zero-sum game. I mean, we're in the beginning of what's going to really be, trillions of dollars spent.
But let's just say, and this might be a hypothetical and this might be real, Dan, that BYD gets subsidized by the Chinese government in order to make enough inroads that they can offer cheap data and cheap technology that achieves some of what Elon Musk is promising, but a much lower price point. Why wouldn't that cannibalize from his potential demand significantly in one of the biggest markets?
Yeah, look, is that a headwind? Yeah, no doubt. I mean, is there some cannibalization? But I think it just comes down to they produce the best product out there. I mean, when it comes to their cars in terms of Tesla, and it comes to ultimately what they're going to have when it comes to autonomous, that's a brand that's, I think, going to go through all that noise. And I think they're going to continue to ultimately gain share in China. And I think when I look at the U.S., despite some of maybe contained brand issues, when I look at autonomous and robotics, I mean, that's 90% of the story going forward. So any of this near-term worries, I think the bar's going to be a lot worse than a bite in terms of where just this broader innovation's going. I believe the best is ahead for Tesla, not in the rearview mirror.
Elon Musk, the visionary leader known for dreaming beyond the stars, once proudly proclaimed that Tesla is on the cusp of becoming the most valuable company on the planet, leaving even the likes of Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon in its dust. But despite the parade of future promises, including autonomous taxis and humanoid robots, it's the stagnation in EV sales that's spilling the beans on Tesla's current challenges. But before going on with the video, are you into cryptocurrency? If so, check out our second channel, Investocracy Crypto. We bring you breaking news, expert analysis, and the latest trends in the fast-moving world of digital assets. Whether you're a seasoned crypto investor or just curious about the future of finance, we've got something for you. Click the link in the description to subscribe to Investocracy Crypto now. Don't miss out and stay ahead of the game. Now, let's get back to the video.
Contained brand issues is the most interesting way of saying that people don't like Elon Musk. There are a number of people who love him, and there are a number of people who hate him. He's very much in the public sentiment. How much can you dismiss that at a time where you have Oppenheimer analysts coming out, Stifel also saying that, frankly, the negative downturn in consumers' perception of Elon Musk could result in a headwind for sales? Why is that just a contend perception risk?
Well, first of all, the haters always hate, right? So, I mean, they're always going to grab onto something that ultimately will be negative for Tesla. When I look at ultimate numbers, I mean, I think it's contained. And look, will there be some brand deterioration here? There could be some. But the reality is that the reason it's going to be known as the bet for the ages, because Musk having that front row seat in the Trump White House, is significant in terms of autonomous, deregulatory environment. And that's the key. So any small brand issues, which I believe are contained, it's still what I view as far and away, and is not even close, the best EV and one of the best really automobiles in the world.
Dan, who's running Tesla?
Look, Musk continues to run, and look, and we've talked about it a lot on the show. I mean, even if you go back a few years ago in terms of everything with X and Twitter and some of the distractions, I actually think this is an engaged Musk behind the scenes in terms of Tesla. There is a much stronger bench today.
Dan, how does he have time for that? I've got to jump in. How does he make the time to do that? That's amazing. Where does that time come from?
Look, well, first off, he definitely has a lot more what I view as a bench at Tesla to run a lot of these products. So maybe a few years ago, he was sort of doing it all. I wouldn't say himself, but I think now there's a lot more, activity that goes on without him. That said, most of the innovation that's coming to Tesla over the next 6 to 9 months, there's so much more innovation coming ahead than behind, and Musk is going to be key to driving that. Now, look, with Doge, is that a distraction? Is that going to cause definitely some negative brand issues? Yeah, it could. But the reality is, in terms of the benefits, far outweigh any of the negatives for the broader Tesla story.
The company, which once seemed to have EV supremacy, is now fending off attacks from cost-effective manufacturers like China's BYD, highlighting an undeniable shift in consumer preference towards value-driven options. Who imagined Tesla, the darling of innovation, would be scrambling to hold its position in countries like Germany and Norway? But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
So what exactly is driving the slump in sales?
Well, this feels more like a Tesla-only story when you look at just this fall in EV sales for them that they're suffering across Europe, down 45% in January. The wider EV market in Europe up 37%, so rivals are catching up and outperforming as well in some cases, doing better than Tesla. And you just have to think, how much more is this a sustained issue for Tesla going forward, given the fact that you have Elon Musk, who's been very forthright in his opinions, particularly weighing in on politics, particularly in Europe. We've just had the European elections, which Musk has been very focused on. But across the piece, when you look at the performance for Tesla in Europe, it's not just in small countries. A lot of countries where Tesla has been performing badly, including in Germany, in the UK where it has been lagging, and Spain as well.
How much of the impact, Danny, can be attributed to Elon Musk's politics, and how much is being swayed by consumer tastes or even Tesla's own internal inputs?
Well, when you look at the kind of input Musk has been having into politics, there has been some polling done which suggests there is a strong dissatisfaction with Elon Musk's views on weighing into very much national politics, national elections in Europe. And then on top of that, when you see the backdrop of Tesla upgrading its product line and the impact of them trying to chase more sales at the back end of last year, that means it's short on inventory. It can't necessarily sell as many vehicles or doesn't have as many in stock to sell. So there is that issue there of a confluence of impacts, which means that sales have been falling. Again, the question is how much more that will impact into February as well, given that the back end of last year in 2024, Tesla sales did slip overall.
As analysts muse, even ardent believers like Cathie would see an $8 trillion valuation anchored on the innovative strength of autonomous rides and robotics as ambitious. Yet amidst this surge of concerns and aspirations, Tesla stands undeterred. But what do you think? Share your thoughts. Finally, if you would like to know what companies like Tesla have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.